How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Tomorrow we have CPI, but we have something else that is massive that I totally forgot about. I only have seen one other person mention it. And last time this happened, it was a major catalyst. 414 institutions bought Bitcoin. So I need to explain what's happening tomorrow. This is going to be a very exciting day, and the lead up to this is quite ingenious, I think, from a couple people. So let's talk about it. If you don't mind, hit subscribe, turn on the bell notification underneath the video so you can see future videos just like this as soon as I make them. There's also going to be a link underneath the video to Margex where you can trade cryptocurrency using leverage. As I've said, bull runs are the time to do this. You can make a significant amount of money and you can amplify your returns. Just make sure that you know what you're doing. Make sure you understand what leverage trading is. But for a lot of people that have done this, they've made a lot of money recently. We put in some longs, literally nailed the bottom here and wrote it up. Also have some longs right around the price that we're at now, but we are largely in the green this bull market. And if you want to try it, if you want to switch over to Margex, you can check out the link underneath the video. It's a great platform. It's very easy to use. It's powered by TradingView. There are a lot of positives to it. Let's move over here. First, before we get into the big catalyst for tomorrow, look at this. Hunter Horsley, who's the Bitwise CEO, he says a very well-known bank with $1 trillion in client assets has just approved the Bitwise Crypto Industry Innovators ETF, BITQ, for solicited access across wealth management. Thrilled to support these advisors. Another step in Bitcoin and crypto entering the mainstream. Keep in mind, this is the portfolio that invests in crypto-related stocks: MicroStrategy, Coinbase, Marathon, Core Scientific, TeraWolf, Cipher Mining, Bitfarms, Northern Data, etc. And this actually is pretty important. If a lot of money goes into BITQ, for example, it should force up the price of these different equities, which means that they can do at-the-money offerings, they can do senior convertible notes, they can raise debt easier and buy more Bitcoin or improve their products, be more profitable for shareholders. So overall, this is good. And with $1 trillion in asset management that possibly is going to start buying BITQ, I mean, it's not going to be the full trillion, but with $1 trillion of AUM, maybe, a couple $100 million go over to BITQ. And solicited access, I assume, means that they can solicit their clients and say, hey, we think this might be a good fit for your portfolio, for your risk. Let's buy a little bit. So that obviously is a big deal. Now, HODL 15 Capital reminds us 13 F filings for Q2 are due tomorrow. I'll be honest, I dropped the ball on this. I was thinking it was going to be in September, but it's always 45 days after the end of the previous quarter. And the end of the quarter was, June, the end of June. So just a reminder, 13 F filings are filed by institutional investment managers. These are people, in general, an institutional investment manager is an entity that invests in or buys and sells securities for its own account, or a natural person or an entity that exercises investment discretion over the account of any other natural person or entity. They are required to start reporting 13F filings, or to have filed within 45 days of the end of the calendar quarter. So these are large entities with $100 million or more in securities. Now, what happened last time? What happened last time this happened? Well, we saw big money was buying Bitcoin. IBIT reached 414 reported holders in the first 13F filing, shattering records. Look at this. IBIT with 414, FBTC with maybe 225, 235, somewhere in there. BITB had 100, ARCB had 80-ish. So a lot of big entities buying this. Keep in mind, these are large entities, $100 million and more in securities. 414 of them owned IBIT. Also, look at what was happening with the price around then. Bitcoin smashed through the $66,000 barrier. This is for a $4,500 move in a day, just smashing a bunch of shorts. Massive $4,500 daily candle and counting. I scrolled way back to look at what I was looking at around this time. Andrew Tate was talking about putting $100 million into BTC. We had pretty good CPI numbers as well that day. 0.3% compared to 0.4% month over month. Keep in mind, we have CPI tomorrow as well. Look at this. Fund manager Pine Ridge Advisors discloses spot Bitcoin ETF holdings worth $205 million in new SEC filing. That's 23% of their $890 million AUM. There were so many big pieces of news. Let's see if there are any other ones I can point out that are really easy. Hedge fund Bracebridge Capital report owning $262 million of ARK spot Bitcoin ETF and $81 million of Blackrock's, like just massive filings. Of course, we have seen less inflow numbers this second quarter compared to the first quarter, but we will be able to see how much are some of these entities that already bought, how much are they adding? Are they, taking profits away? Are there a lot more entities that are buying in? Millennium Management LLC, a giant capital management hedge fund, reported having $2 billion in spot Bitcoin ETFs. This is 3.33% of their entire AUM. Keep in mind, this is around the time too that we were seeing that there were pension funds also buying. I mean, this is a list of the top ones. Millennium Management with $1.8 billion. Sequoia with, Susquehanna. It shows me, or it looks like Sequoia right away, but I don't think it is. We have $1.1 billion, Bracebridge $404, Booth Bay $303, Morgan Stanley with $251 million. There have been a lot of entities recently that have started saying that they're going to start pushing to clients. So it's impossible to know how many different entities are going to be buying right now. But overall, this was an extremely bullish catalyst last quarter. I would expect something similar. Of course, we'll have to continue watching to see how many financial firms have been buying. I'm sure we're going to have some selling. So maybe there's some big piece of news, some tweet that you see like 82 financial firms sold out of their Bitcoin or something like that. But overall, it probably will be accretive. Overall, there have been net inflows, I believe, this last quarter. And I'm sure that some more entities are starting to buy. Right? There are some states that are talking about buying, creating national reserves, which I think they're probably going to actually buy straight Bitcoin as opposed to the Bitcoin ETFs. But there are some pensions that have bought. There are how many hedge funds? 937 financial firms disclosed having Bitcoin ETF holdings in Q1. Gold ETFs had just 95 firms invested in the first quarter. So overall, it should be a very exciting day. Like tomorrow, I think is the biggest day of the week for crypto, for Bitcoin. But obviously, we'll see kind of like the fallout, some extra news, people breaking down the news the rest of the week. But I am pumped about tomorrow. I can't wait to see some of this news coming out. Let me know your thoughts though. I'll be here reporting it. If you want to subscribe so you see that, feel free to. There's also the link underneath the video in case you want to place any kind of longs or shorts before that news comes out tomorrow. We're right in the middle of this range. So maybe you want to place a long or a short. Check out those links underneath the video. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think is going to come out in the next few days. I'll see you in the next video.